Cam Jordan recently announced that he would be playing for the New Orleans Saints again in his 15th season. So we're going to hear from the man himself on his own podcast, Off the Edge with Cam Jordan. We're not going to listen to the entire episode. He talks about a bunch of different topics. We might skip around a little bit, but we're going to listen to his decision in returning to the New Orleans Saints. I think it's, this will be a good conversation because it's so easy to get lost, I think, as a fan or just someone following a team of, the players are nothing more than people on the field, and they're transactionary where you can cut, release, trade, sign. It's just like they're in and out, but some players are more than that, and Cam Jordan is certainly more than that. He's certainly more than just stats on a page or whatever else. He's a legitimate pillar here in New Orleans. I mean, he is as deep into the community as a player can be. And Cam, one of my favorite Saints ever, just, is he as prolific defensively as he once was? No. But I'm glad to see Cam returning, and we're going to take this time to listen to him and hear what he has to say and why and how and all of the above.
Or things around the league, and we'll get to that. But I'm taking this because it's my pod and I do what I want. No, I'm just kidding. But we are going to talk about my announcement, how I'm playing into the year 15, how maybe it came about in like the last 72 hours. It became like a whirlstorm. I was traveling, enjoying the offseason, etc. Knew that, start of league year was coming up. Things had to switch around, change. There's guys to be paid, guys, contracts need to be restructured, revised, whatever it was. And I somewhere fell in between all that. Landed on a Sunday from Germany, visiting my sister who lives out there with her husband and my two nieces. And
in Germany? Jesus.
Yeah, got a deal done by Wednesday. It was crazy how that thing came through. But we'll get to it. We'll also talk about, free agency around the league and what that looks like. And yeah, stick with me. Which brings us, while we're in Germany, my agent calls me Friday, was like, hey, we sort of got to get something done. Got to check around the league if you want to go somewhere. I was like, go somewhere. Look, I was like, if I have to go, I will go. And ranted a little bit. I was like, look, like, I'm still under contract. This is where I should be. My contract says, I got another year on it. So unless they cut me, I'm not leaving, or I'm not taking a pay reduction. And I was like, after talking about it, I'm like, look, I want to win. And at the end of the day, do I really want to go somewhere for the next 2 years, next 3 years? Maybe just this year, like year 15, year 16, year 17. I know after year 17, I'll be fully done. I got 3 years at tops. Like, Calais Campbell probably with year 17, think about year 18. I'm looking at him, I'm like, salute to him. 17 seems like a long ways away.
It's crazy, the human side of it, because like we always hear the same thing, right? You always hear like a player, they're incentivized by money or they're incentivized by winning. And, as players get older in their career, you hear like they want to ring, they want to win, they want to do this, they want to do that, but so much comes with it. Like think about Cam Jordan. He has been in New Orleans his entire career, raises kids here, lives here, all of that. Beacon of the community, everything that comes with it. It's like, do you want to win that bad? Or do you want to try and win that bad to where you either have to be away from your family for an extended period of time or you have to move? Like, I highly doubt he would move his entire family for 1 year, but he would have to travel. You're somewhere else, so you got to get used to a new building, a new staff, a new teammates, a new roster, new environment, new way of doing things. Or is it like, maybe we just try and win here? Like, it's not as easy as just, well, I want to win, so I'll go wherever.
We're going to take this year by year. So 15, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Where would you see yourself going? I was like, well, nowhere cold. I refuse to go to Cleveland. Cleveland called, I won't answer. And I'm sure they're going to say, we never called. Good God. I can't do it. One game in Cleveland told me I'm not cut out for the snow. Negative 30 degrees, 28 degrees, whatever that was with windshield. No, I'm still scarred mentally, physically, emotionally. I was over there looking like Ace off of Paid in Full. I'm breathing different. I'm moving different. Hate it here. But when you think about, the teams available, it's like, oh yeah, I would so leave. But is it worth it?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
family
So,
loves it here. The community work that I do
yep.
here has been detrimental. It's a part of me. It's such a big
Instrumental. Definitely didn't mean detrimental, but we'll give him a free one.
part of me. To walk around in New Orleans and know that you're showing love here, to have the Cam Jordan Foundation take off the way it did this last year, after we changed from God Is Love Foundation, to have been in this community for the last 8-9 years. And we're talking about a reduction in salary. I'm like, man, all right, figure it out, but like, don't take too much. So let me fight some back. And so, the contract is what it is. I mean, you can get the numbers, but you'll figure that out online somewhere. I'm not just gonna give it to you. But at the end of the day, this is where I want to be. I've always said I want to win a Super Bowl in the black and gold. So if it ain't Nola to the black and gold, maybe it's not for me. And you got to realize there's guys that go to different teams and try and win one, go join up with a super team and think they're going to win one and don't. And I feel
Yeah, I mean, there are teams that are considered super teams that never win. Like there's only one team. There's one team a year that wins the Super Bowl. And I always think it's interesting whenever I hear people who say, well, if you don't win a Super Bowl, the season's a waste. Or if you don't win a Super Bowl, it doesn't matter, or the season's pointless, or whatever. And it's like, man, that's wild. That's a wild way to view a season. And I watch a lot of like international soccer. I watch a lot of domestic soccer too, but I watch a lot of international soccer. And if you watch if you watch the Premier League, or you watch Spanish football or whatever, that there's like 4 or 5 different competitions a year where you have like your league season, but then you have your league cup, you have like your regional cup, you have the Champions League, like international cups or whatever. And those teams are always trying to get a trophy. They're always trying to get a singular thing. If they get more than one, great. But they always want one. One is considered successful. Getting to the Champions League qualifying, which is finishing top 4 of your league, is a success, right? Finishing top 6 for some teams is a success, because that means you qualify for the Europa League. And we're getting a little deep into soccer now. But, with the NFL, I think it's the same way, where, if you win your division, success. Hang a banner. If you win your conference, huge success. You go to the Super Bowl. If you're in your conference championship, huge success. You're one of the final 4 teams. If you win a playoff game, success. And obviously success is determined differently for different teams. That the Chiefs wouldn't be happy with just winning their division, but the Jaguars would be the happiest team in the world if they just won their division, right? So it is a bit relative. Teams are also in different areas. Like the Saints are at the end of one era going into the other era. So building something with new players, new coaches, new staff, building something, getting back to relevancy, like the Saints winning 9 games next year, I think would be a win, would be a success. The Saints winning 10 games, huge success. But I guess for some people, it's like winning a Super Bowl is all that matters. I think it takes a lot of the fun out of the whole thing.
Like all the OGs that I talked to, from Justin Tuck back in the day when he went over to the Raiders.
Giants.
I mean, I don't know if I got privy to say this, but he was like, maybe I wish I would have stayed with the Giants. You talk about, Lamar Woodley, from everybody else that you see leave and don't win a Super Bowl. You're like, well, what's their point? Think about looking at Jerry Rice.
Yeah. Playing with the Seahawks. Sweet.
From the Niners, and then on another team, you just sort of look at it. You're like, huh?
I mean, had some success with the Raiders, and then, there's so many players where you're like, man, they played for that team. Like Emmitt Smith played for the Cardinals. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's like, man, when did that happen?
Big Woodson, the safety, Hall of Famer, Rob Woodson. You just like, a different jersey? Is it? I just look at even young guys when they leave. You think about Nnamdi Asomugha, go from the Oakland Raiders to, Seattle, not
Philly. Watch that. I mean, it's just who else? Who else can just call it out like me? It's Philly.
Yeah. Go to Philadelphia. Not the same Nnamdi. Oh. So luckily it's Year 15 for me with the Saints.
Nnamdi Asomugha. I'm trying to pull the college. I think it's Nebraska. That's the first thing I thought of. I think it's Nebraska. Let's see. Went to Cal. I was wrong. Damn it. It's all right. Happens to the best of us. Couldn't pull it.
And we'll see where this goes. I love it for me.
I think Prince Amakimura or whatever.
I really love it for me. Nebraska. We ended up picking back up Chase Young, who's a hell of a athlete. And we talk about, looked apart, 6'6", yoked up, with the temperament to where he wants to be better. And I'm just saying, watch the tape. He pops up frequently. I mean, if you looked at years prior to the way he was playing this year, the effort is clearly ascending. You always want more. I think he's top 10 in pressures in the league.
Yeah, I think he was 7th last year in pressures.
This last year, and I mean, just think if those pressures turned into sacks, how much farther would he have been?
And sometimes that's another. I always say you can't just go to ESPN.com and look at the 4 stats that they give you. You obviously want to get sacks, and we've talked about before where Chase Young's problem is usually he rushes past the quarterback, tries to sack him from behind paws. He did that in college, doesn't work in the NFL. The quarterbacks get rid of the ball too much, which is probably a reason why he has messed up ratio of pressures to sacks, because he probably is still pressuring the long way, taking the scenic route. But if he does clean that up, he's 25 years old. If he cleans that up, you never know what he can do. But also, pressure rate is a legitimate statistic. It's not just all about sack, it's not just all about sacks. So Chase Young, I think people would be surprised at how good Chase Young was last year. And I like him as a player. I think Chase Young is good. He's good right now. If he plays exactly how he played last year for the rest of his career, he'll be a good player. If he takes a step forward, watch out.
So there's a reason why, there's a plan. You bring in our new defensive staff. I mean, if you talk about, I think it's a solid pickup. We pick up Brandon Staley, who's a D coordinator, was a former head coach, and the defense that he brings in. I mean, you saw how much success Khalil Mack had off the edge under him. Of course, Joey Bosa when he was at the Chargers. And beyond that, the DC, as they're putting that scheme together, you see he's like, hey, I want to utilize our players and what they're good at. And you love to hear that. You love to hear that. And you know that he's got nothing but love for the D-line. Of course, you bring in a Bo Davis from LSU. And I mean, first of all, I've seen some of the rants on YouTube, like he's going after cats. I'm like, oh, no fire brimstone coach. Okay.
Yeah, we covered this, and I have a sneaky suspicion that Bo Davis is the enforcer. Every coaching staff has a guy who's like the enforcer, the tough as nails, get in your face, chew your ass, because the head coach can't always do that. And the question is who's it going to be for the Saints? And I think Bo Davis is that guy.
That's an interior D-line coach if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
And then from there, he's an interior D-line coach. LSU was upset, like, how could you take our coach? Because we needed him more than you get. We trying to win a Super Bowl. We bring in Jay Rogers off the edges. I mean, he's come from that Vic Fangio tree. So,
yep. Remember, Staley coached multiple times under Fangio. Staley is a Fangio disciple. If you like Fangio's system, if you like Saban's system, you're going to like Staley's system.
It's dealing with the edges.
All right, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. Cam talks about the Saints' young roster talent. We're going to get to the Kellen Moore and the Gail Benson talk, and then we'll finish this one.
Coach Kellen Moore, the Super Bowl that he just won, being an OC, and him being an outstanding quarterback over at Boise State. So he's been in a leadership position, for his offense his whole life. Now, is he a born leader? I don't know. We'll figure that one out. It's a different being from being a quarterback or OC to being the head coach. Buck stops here type of guy. We shall definitely see, but I'm excited again. Every facet of what the Saints have going for them, including Miss Gail Benson. I mean, just a great. What is a basketball called? They're not. They don't call them owners. They almost call them partners at this point. But what that part, the fact that she's in charge of the Saints and the Pelicans, and she cares about players individually, top down. It's top tier. So, whatever I think going forward. Just know I'm thinking black and gold. Lord, to the Super Bowl.
Cam is absolutely a New Orleans Saint through and through. And, Cam is always, he's a great soundbite. He's got great EQ. He's someone who, when he talks,
you can save on
talks. Not right now. When Cam talks, we listen. It's good to get that perspective. It really is. Like, it's so easy to just all across your keyboard and everywhere and, doom and gloom and whatnot. But it is good to take a step back and listen to the players and just kind of hear about what they're thinking and where they're coming from and what's going on in the locker room and what's going on around the team. I love to listen to the veterans like Cam and Alvin Kamara and players like that and just see, what's their temperament. And I think it's just an exciting time. It's a really exciting time to be a Saints fan. And I'm thrilled to see what a Kellen Moore-led team looks like. I'm thrilled to see what Brandon Staley's defense looks like. I cannot wait until the draft to see who we take 9th overall and what direction the team goes in. Are we going to draft our next wide receiver 1? Are we going to draft our next, the defensive tackle or quarterback or running back or linebacker or who is it? So can't wait. It's just a fun time of the year where I can feel that hope growing. Like everything's possible. At a certain time of the year, everything is possible for every single team, right? Every quarterback's going to be successful. Every draft pick is going to be a Hall of Famer. All of this is going to happen. We're getting to that point where, all of a sudden, every team's got their franchise quarterback, right? Every team's got their next star running back. And, so have fun with it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy it. I'm glad Cam's back. Shows that there is something to team loyalty. And there is something to, players wanting to win for the jersey and wanting to win for the community and wanting to win for all that. And Cam obviously prioritizes that. And I think Cam will, when he makes this move, when he decided to come back to the Saints for the season, he's basically telling us he's going to retire a Saint. And he's going to retire, in the black and gold, and he'll go up in the Ring of Honor and whatnot. So good for him. Glad he's back. Will he be a Pro Bowl level player? Will he be a 10-sack guy? I doubt that. But, the leadership is invaluable. The locker room voice is invaluable, something the Saints desperately need. When you have a coaching staff that is as young and inexperienced as ours is, and a young roster, the Saints roster is going to continue getting younger. It's not going to continue getting older. I mean, we've seen it with Justin Reed, Chase Young, all these draft picks coming in. We're going to see it as some of these older players start to fall off, whether it's through retirements or being released or traded or whatever. But the roster will get younger, and they're going to need voices to listen to. Cam Jordan's one of those voices. So good to see him back. Hell of a guy, hell of a player, hell of a member of the community. Should have won Man of the Year this year. It was disgusting that they didn't give it to him, but different video for a different day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.